There's a lot of talk about life and work balance, balancing work and family. I believe, and I've learned a lot through A Course in Miracles that has really helped me bring together just balancing my work, balancing work and family, balancing the pleasures in life with the tougher times in life, just life and work balance. But first of all, if we are identifying with the ego, that only blocks the true knowledge within us. It blocks the true knowledge within you from life and work balance, we can say. Any offer you receive by identifying with the ego in you is always temporary, and it will tell you that this is what life is all about. However, spirit can give you a sense of permanence and unshakable being through the air it breathes, called knowledge. And right here is where balancing work and family comes from. Hello, everyone. This is James Nussbaumer, and I'm announcing my second book of the series called Mastering Your Own Spiritual Freedom, Lessons from A Course in Miracles. And I hope you'll get a copy. The third book is on its way, and I've got many more to come, and I'm very excited over this. But A Course in Miracles profoundly teaches us that no one who has ever experienced this knowledge from within can ever gain trust or believe the ego. And the ego is that doubting and fearful aspect in us all who often likes to be judgmental. When the ego tries to communicate, it often is very judgmental with a wail of doubt going on. When you are identifying with the ego is in us all. It's that false self about us. When you are identifying there, it must mean that you are not certain of your unified oneness with God. Therefore, balancing work and family can be difficult. In my second book that I just showed you, we go deep and talk about as well that any questions that you may have, whether or not that you do have a creator. A lot of us, there's that doubting aspect in us. What is my creator? I mean, we thoughts like that do pass through us. But don't worry. This thought has crossed all of our minds thanks to the ego in us. This is only your own separateness being afraid to heal. The ego in us is that separate identity that feels that he or she in you feels, that's part of you that feels you are separate from God. But there is not a force in all of eternity that is strong enough or worthy enough to guide you except for your own true free will. Yes, your purpose in life, what it is you really want to be doing. And here is where you find life and work balance. Wouldn't you agree? In this free will of yours, this purpose in life, this living life on your own terms, if you will, in this free will of yours is the Spirit of God. And in the Holy Spirit's giving this free will to you, all giving and receiving will remain yours. What I mean is, ask and you shall receive. You really will receive what you want and what you need, if it's truly what you want and need. And ask and you shall receive is both true and necessary, so you may have the resources available to give. A Course in Miracles also helps us to see Jesus, the man who extended this same idea to us as our elder brother and leader of the atonement process, and has asked us to stay mindful of the oneness, our divinity, which the atonement stands for. The atonement is the undoing of identifying with the ego and its fantasy assumptions and projections. Your free will guides you. Yes, it certainly does. The Spirit of Jesus, through the Christ mind, A Course in Miracles teaches us, we all share, stands at the end as the final welded link in the chain where completion is guaranteed. We can say the Christ mind is the whole child of God personalized, onto which you may project the image that suits you best. For example, in a casual conversation I had, someone used the idea that Christ can be seen as the brain, so to speak, or the mind, so to speak, that operates God's whole child. God's son, the Son of God, his whole child. With this understanding, we can see the child of God as our relationship with oneness. And here's where life balance comes into play. Full atonement, though, within this relationship, or the end of time when identifying with the ego, when this has ceased, it is where we will all appear as Christ. This will be the final judgment, which is rather than it's the final judgment of us coming together as one. The links have all been connected and we're one. There's no separateness anymore, but rather it's not a meting out of punishment as the ego likes to see the final judgment. This is when all the love we could have that we could ever will for, that will ever exist, will exist without conflict. When we are free of all illusion, and reality will be the vision. Fantasy will no longer have an attraction and not really an event in time. And when we can see that fantasy really doesn't have an attraction to us, but what is real really does, there we go with our life balance, life and work balance. How in the realm of one-mindedness, think about this, can a single conflict exist? By one-mindedness, I mean what is whole? What is whole cannot conflict. This is what is really meant by the statement, thou shalt have no other gods, because there are none when we're not identifying with the ego. The Holy Spirit, our inner guide, as I had mentioned, and the link in spirit to wholeness, while we're in this world, has intended for us to use this wonderful statement as a devotion to truth rather than a demand. But over the generations, identifying with the ego has interpreted this as a direct rule or for obedience called a commandment. Now, I'm not being derogatory at all about the 10 Commandments, but being this thought process, can it be as though the ego has worked diligently toward teaching us that we see God as a commander rather than one in being with us, where our life balance and work comes together? Hey everyone, I hope this made sense and it wasn't too deep for you. But if you enjoyed this video, I invite you to please be a subscriber to my YouTube channel by clicking subscribe right here. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And if you would like to subscribe to my Everyday Miracles newsletter, the link here is also below in the description box down below. In my newsletter is where you, the reader, and I, the author, bring our minds together for self-success and a better world. Now I hope you decide to live in the world by being a person of life and balance. I wish the best to you, and I hope that you're thinking a lot about your own life. As always, I try to mention that, and all the natural gifts that you have inside of you, which helps you to live a life, have a balance in your life with work and family and everything that goes with that, to enjoy the best life possible. Thank you again for putting up with me for these few brief moments, and I hope to see you down the road somewhere, maybe at a future event. Thank you.